Before you go back to doom scrolling on your phone, built by rare earth minerals mined in Congo, while sitting in a car running on oil, eating food grown with synthetic fertilizer. I have one question for you. How much do you really know about the world that keeps you alive? Not the app world. The real one. The one that feeds you, moves you, and keeps the lights on. Vaclav Smil is the scientist Bill Gates rereads every single year. And in his book How the World Really Works, he gives us the cold, hard truth that almost nobody else is willing to say out loud. Spoiler, the world doesn't run on good intentions. It runs on energy, materials, and physics. And physics doesn't negotiate. Today we're covering 3 truths Smil drops like a bucket of ice water. Buckle up. The obvious captain is armed with data. Fact number 1, and hold on to something. Over 80% of the energy humanity consumes still comes from fossil fuels. Coal, oil, natural gas. Right now. Today. And renewables? They're growing. But total energy demand is growing faster. It's like running up an escalator that's going down. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. But here's what nobody tells you on social media: oil isn't just fuel. It's the raw material for plastics, fertilizers, medications, synthetic fabrics, asphalt. Oil is basically everywhere. You know how much oil goes into an electric car? More than you'd think. The tires, the interior plastics, the lubricants. Oil is in everything except the part you're actually trying to replace. And then there's food. The Haber-Bosch process makes synthetic nitrogen fertilizer using natural gas. Without it, half of humanity wouldn't exist. I'll say that again, half of humanity wouldn't exist. Smil's point is simple: we don't depend on fossil fuels because of bad policy. We depend on them because we built a civilization of 8 billion people on top of them. And you can't just swap the foundation of a building while people are still living in it. The obvious captain's take? You can't knock out the foundation of a building while you're still living inside it. First, you build the new one. Then you move in. Simple. Obvious. Apparently controversial. Quick question: what do a skyscraper in Dubai, the phone in your pocket, a grocery bag, and the wheat fields feeding Europe all have in common? Smil identifies 4 materials without which modern civilization simply does not exist. 4. That's it. Write these down. 1. Steel. It's in every building, every machine, every ship, every bridge. We produce nearly 2 billion tons a year. And to make it, we need coking coal. No scalable substitute exists today. 2. Cement. The most produced material on Earth after water. China used more cement between 2011 and 2013 than the United States used in the entire 20th century. Read that again if you need to. 3. Plastic. Lightweight, cheap, versatile, durable, and nearly impossible to replace at scale. Your toothbrush, the wiring in your walls, water pipes, food packaging. Plastic is everywhere and we know it. 4. Ammonia. The fertilizer keeping half the planet fed. Without synthetic ammonia, global agriculture collapses within months. Months. What do all 4 have in common? They all depend on fossil fuels to be produced. Every single one. And none of them has a scalable substitute today. Not one. This isn't ideology. It's chemistry and physics. Replacing these four materials requires decades of massive investment and technology that simply doesn't exist at scale yet. Okay. So we know we depend on fossil fuels and four critical materials. The obvious question is, so what? Do we just give up? No. But we also don't fantasize. Humanity has gone through three major energy transitions: wood to coal, coal to oil, oil to gas. You know how long each one took? Between 50 and 70 years. Why so slow? Because it's not just swapping the fuel. It's replacing the entire infrastructure: refineries, power grids, engines, factories, ships, planes. Everything. Smil isn't saying renewables are bad. He's saying we radically underestimate what it means to change the energy foundation of a civilization of 8 billion people. Concrete example: solar panels and electric cars need copper, lithium, cobalt, nickel in massive quantities. And how do we extract those minerals? With heavy machinery. Diesel-powered heavy machinery. It's not a fatal contradiction. It's a real transition. But a real transition has real costs, real timelines, and real complexity that don't fit in a three-word slogan. And here's Smil's most uncomfortable point: we are terrible at predicting the energy future. The people in 1970 who said we'd all have flying cars by 2000. The people today saying everything will be renewable by 2030. What we can actually do: invest heavily in research, improve efficiency everywhere, cut waste, and build the new infrastructure without tearing down the old one before the new one is ready. The obvious captain's take. You don't turn off the lights in one room before you've switched them on in the next. Same thing applies to global energy. Obvious. Apparently not obvious enough. All right. 3 big truths from the real world according to Smil. Let's build the full map on the board so none of this slips away. Branch 1, energy. Over 80% fossil, and that doesn't change overnight. Oil isn't just fuel, it's raw material for almost everything you touch. Branch 2, materials. For pillars, all fossil-dependent: steel, cement, plastic, ammonia. Pull any one of them and modern civilization starts to crack. Branch 3, the transition. It's necessary, but it's slow. 50 to 70 years per historical transition. And the new clean infrastructure has its own fossil dependencies during construction. And at the center of it all, the idea that connects everything: the world runs on physics, not wishes. Understanding that isn't pessimism. It's the first step toward actually changing something. Smil isn't a pessimist. He's a realist with data. And his message is clear: real problems need real solutions. Not marketing campaigns. Not viral hashtags. Science and engineering. So what do you actually do with all of this? Smil doesn't give you a 5-step plan. He gives you something more valuable: a framework for thinking clearly in a world full of noise. Step 1. Whenever you hear an energy or climate promise, ask 3 questions. At what scale? In what time frame? With what materials? If it can't answer all 3 with actual numbers, walk away. Step 2. Learn to tell the difference between a real trend and a viral headline. Smil's data goes against almost everything you see on social media. And he's almost always right. Step 3. Read the book. Seriously. 7 chapters. Each one makes you smarter than the last. It's not a self-help book. It's intellectual self-defense. This is the obvious captain reminding you that the world doesn't work the way you think.